afternoon, good evening. How are you guys? All right, welcome to today's program. How are you guys doing? Okay, all right. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekends. All right, this morning we're going to talk about dates. I lost my voice a little bit, so I'm going to try to speak harder so that you guys can hear me. So we're going to be talking about date. Date. Can people with diabetics eat dates? That is what we're going to be discussing this morning. What about dates? Emmanuel, you asked me about dates, so I'm going to answer your questions about dates. If it is safe for you to take dates. All right. Let me update my page. I'm trying to see what is going on here. All right. Omar, you're welcome. How are you? How are you doing? Okay, so we're going to be talking about dates this morning. Can you eat dates if you have diabetics? Can you eat dates if you have diabetics? Okay, all right. Good to know. Good to know you're doing well. Where are you watching from? Where are you watching from? Omar. Okay. Specific dates. Okay. Can you eat dates? I don't know if you guys know what is dates. I don't know if you guys know what is date. I think I have. I don't know if I have any here. Dates. I don't know if you guys understand what is date. What part of Africa are you watching from? All right. I'm just waiting for a little bit. Okay. For everybody to come online, and then we'll start. So we're going to be discussing about dates, and also Omar asked me a question about. I think I have. No, I think let me get you. Let me get you what date it's all about. I think I have one here. I'm going to show you guys what date. I'll be right back. So I'm going to show you guys what date, Omar, what you are talking about. You said date means Arabic tamar. I'm not talking about date, okay? I'm not talking about date. Um, this is what date, this is what I mean. This is date, okay? This is what date I'm talking about. So the date you are referring there, I'm not talking about actual date like a number. This is what date is all about. So I'm okay. So can you eat this? This is what we call date. Okay, it comes in different forms. Like this is dry one, coated. Okay, this is what is called date. So can you eat it? Okay. And once again, if my audio is not clear, let me know. If you can hear me properly, let me know. So that is what I mean by date. Okay, so I'm not talking about actual number, date. Can you eat dates? So my question is, if you're a diabetic, can you eat this? Okay, if you're a diabetic, can you eat this? Okay, so we're going to answer the question together. All right, so having said that, we're going to look at if it is possible for you to eat this. If you're a diabetic, and what are the concerns if you have to eat it? Okay, and what are the effects on your blood sugar if you eat this, and what are the potential benefits? Why do you have to eat this? So we're going to look at all those things. Umar, I don't understand your question. What eating in fast of Ramadan? Umar, I don't understand your question. We were not in Ramadan now, you are no more fasting. Okay, Ramadan has passed. So we are talking about dates. So dates, okay, is very sweet fruit. Date is very sweet and also contains some carb. Every fruit you take contains some amount of carbs in it. So you also have to worry about the carbohydrate in that fruit that you're eating. The more you eat such fruit, the more your carbohydrate carbs are counting up. Okay, so that is why it is important to know what are your limits when eating any fruit. Yes, you'll be advised to eat some fruit, but you also have to be very careful in terms of the carb content. So dates are known for their sweetness. They are very sweet and also contain some carbs. Okay, and also how does it impact your blood sugar? Okay, all right, how does it impact your blood sugar if you are living with diabetics? If you're not a diabetic, that's a different thing entirely. You can eat as much as you want, but once you're a diabetic, you have to be very careful in terms of the carb content and how many of this you eat on a particular time. Okay, so eating dates, can you eat it? The answer is yes, but you also have to eat them in moderation. Okay, there are some benefit in eating dates. Okay, so if you're eating dates, you have to eat them in moderation. This is what is called dates. Okay, so when you are eating dates, you have to eat them in moderation because of the carb content in it, and they are very sweet. Do not be carried away because of the sweetness of what is inside it. Once you are diabetics, you have to be very careful to eat in moderation. Okay, they are nutritious, they have some benefit, but at the same time, they contain some carbs in it. All right, so dates can be defined or said to be sweet is a freshly fruit of freshly fruit of a palm tree. Now, you can get date in different form, either fresh or dried. Okay, so you can buy them either fresh or dried. Some are coated, some are processed. Okay, so you can use it as a smoothie or as a dessert or as a dish. So you can eat them in different form. But one thing you have to understand that you have to eat them in moderation. Once you are a diabetic, you cannot eat them in a high quantity. Okay. Now, one thing you have to understand is that. One thing you have to understand is that due to the natural sweets in it, okay, because it is a very sweet fruit, okay, due to the sweetness in it, do not be carried away. Okay. So, due to the sweetness in it, if you're a diabetic, you have to be cautious in the amount of date that you consume. Because if I think, oh, it's very sweet, and then you eat as much as you want. Now, what you have to understand is that once you're a diabetic, you also have to learn how to count your carbs. Once you are a diabetic, you have to learn how to count your carbs. It's part of managing your diabetes. Now, counting your carbs is one thing. Eating in moderation is one thing. Now, plate portion is another thing. And then spacing your food is another thing. Once you are a diabetic, you cannot eat one large bowl of food at the same time. It is not possible. Because any food you eat contains some carbs. So those carbs, the larger the amount of food you eat, the larger the amount of carbs in it. And that is going to have an effect in your blood sugar levels. And that is why as a diabetic, you have to space your food. You have to eat your food in a smaller portion, say every 4 hours. So plate control, portion size matters. And then staggering your food over 24 period of time matters. And then eat it in moderation. Counting your carbs is very, very key to managing your diabetes. If you don't know how to count your carbs, that becomes a problem. Because every food, everything that you take contains some carbs in it. They might be good for you as a diabetic, but the more you eat such food, the more your carb count keep accumulating, and it's going to have an effect in your blood sugar levels that is going to spark up your blood sugar level if you eat them too much, and then cause you to have neuropathy. Once you start having neuropathy in your feet, you start having little burning sensation in your feet, numbness or tingling in your feet, it means your sugar level is too high. Then you have to do something to bring them down to get rid of those symptoms. So the same thing applies to dates. So dates are sweet and they contain some carbs in it, and it's going to be a cause of concern for you as a diabetic to know how many should you eat in a particular time. Moderation is the key in eating dates. Okay, moderation is the key to eating dates. Are they good for diabetics? Yes, because of the benefit in it. But at the same time, you also have to be cautious of the carb content in it. All right. So let's look at the concerns. What are the concerns in eating date as a diabetic? Renewable debt say you are new, you are welcome. How are you? Code operator, how are you? Code operator, how are you? Thanks for joining the program. Okay, so those that are watching me on Facebook, okay, my YouTube, I'm also streaming on YouTube. For those that are watching me on YouTube, I'm also streaming on Facebook. So you can also find me on Facebook. All right, so let's look at the concerns. What are the concerns in consuming this? What are the concerns in consuming dates? All right, I'm going to look at the concerns. Umar, I believe you understand what I'm talking about. We are not talking about Ramadan because you are a little bit confused. Okay, what are the concerns? Now, since we know that dates contain some sweetness in it, okay? Dates contain some sweetness in it, okay? Even if you take a small bite. They also contain a natural source of fructose. If you guys know what fructose is all about. Fructose is a type of sugar that is found in fruits. Okay? They are sweet. Yes, it's a major concern, and that is why you have to eat them in moderation. And also they contain some fructose. Fructose are mainly found in fruits. It's a type of sugar found in fruit. Now, each of these fructose or each of these medicinal dates contains about 24 grams, which is about 67 calories and roughly about 18 grams of carbs. So what am I talking about? Each of these dates, the size of this date you are seeing in my hand, in my finger, the size of this date contains about 24 grams. Okay? Okay? Now, about 67 calories and roughly about 18 grams of carbs. Now, let's digest it. Now, if you're a diabetic, you also have to be worried about your calories also. You also know how much calories you are needed as in a day as a diabetic is very important. You must know as an adult, you cannot exceed 2,000 or 2,200 calories per day. So anything in excess of 2,000 or 2,200 calories per day becomes in excess. And that is why as a diabetic, you also have to worry about calories and also try to shed your weight. The more you eat food with calories, the more you add weight. And that is why doctors are going to advise you to reduce your weight by burning those calories out. So as an adult, you are required the maximum amount of calories allowed per day per adult is about maximum is 2,200 calories. So I'm going to tell you 2,000 calories. So now this particular date has 67 calories. Just one date has 67 calories. And know that you are also eating other food. So even though you eat 3 or 4 of these, multiply it, add it. So one date contains about 67 calories. Now, one of these dates contains about 18 carbs of what? 18 carbs. Now, you see that you've exceeded the amount of carb you need per dieting. I told you guys in an earlier stage, you also learn how to count your carbs. Counting your carbs are very important in managing your diabetes. Now, you have to know how many carbs allowed per meal and per day. Per day, you allow about 64 carbs per day. You cannot exceed 64 carbs per day. Now, per meal, you allow 58. For each meal you take, you must have at least 15 grams carbs in it. Now, I've said it several times. Any meal that you are eating that does not contain carbohydrate is not a balanced diet. Carbs is very important and must be in every food you eat. And that is why you need 15 grams of carb per each meal that you take. Our body needs carbs to function. If your body doesn't have carbohydrate, it cannot function properly. You talk, you walk, you stand, whatever activities you are doing, you are using carbohydrate. If you don't have carbohydrate, you cannot function, your body cannot function. And that is why carbohydrate is like a catalyst. It's like a fuel that our body needs to function daily. And that is why you need 15 grams of carbs per each meal. And then about 64 grams of carbohydrate per day. Now, this one date contains roughly about 18 grams of carbs, just one of it. So if you eat 2, 3, 4, you are exceeding the allowable amount of carbs per meal. That is why you have to be very cautious in eating dates, even though it has some beneficial nutrition in it. 1 or 2 carbs is okay for you, but when you exceed that amount of dates, you are inviting troubles to yourself. So each medicinal date, okay, has about 24 grams. Okay, 67 calories. and about roughly 18 grams of carbs. This. So people living with diabetics, okay, may find it challenging to manage their blood sugar levels with this. Okay, so that is why you have to be cautious and then eat them in moderation. As soon as you start feeling those neuropathy in your feet, those burning sensations or tingling or numbness in your feet or in your arms, it means your sugar levels are getting above the normal range. So you have to burn them out to get rid of those symptoms. Now, given their high carb content, dates may raise a concern for those that are living with diabetes because it has a high content of carbs. So that is why it's a concern for those that are living with diabetics to eat dates because of the high amount of carbs that is in it. So now, let not be carried away. Don't be disturbed. Even though it has a high carb content in it, that is a concern. But when you eat them in moderation, these dates can become beneficial to you. The question is, what is in moderation? What I may consider to be moderation might be different from somebody to consider in moderation. Okay, that is why discipline has to come in. When you are treating diabetics or managing diabetics or living with diabetics, you have to be very cautious in what kinds of food you eat and also be very disciplined. Have your cutoff points. So we define moderation, each individual define moderations to the way that satisfies them. What I might consider moderation might not be moderation to you. So eat in moderation, date can be what? Beneficial. Okay? But due to the high carb content in it, it is a concern for those that are living with diabetics. So that is why a single dry dates pack, nearly 2 grams. Okay? So now, I'm trying to how I'm going to put it for you guys to understand. Somebody is asking me, does it have fiber? Yes. It has about 7% of fiber. That is why it is beneficial on it. It has about 7% of fiber, which is your daily value. Now, as a diabetics, you have to eat things that contains more fiber and less carbs in it. So that's why you're going to be advised to eat food that contains more fiber and less in carbohydrates. Okay, so yes, it contains some fiber. Okay, now when you eat food that contains a lot of fiber, okay, it helps your body to absorb those carbs at a slower pace. So that is why somebody's going to ask me, why do they actually ask you to eat food that contains a lot of fiber and less in carbohydrate? Yes, dates has a high content of carbs. Fiber is good for your diabetes because what it does is that it absorbs all the carbs that is in your body, okay, in a slower pace, so it does not affect your blood sugar levels. It does not dump them into your blood sugar levels. That is why fiber are a complex carbohydrate. As a diabetic, you have to find food that are complex carbohydrate and consume. Stay away from simple carbohydrate. Simple carbohydrate food is going to alter your sugar balance and also spike up your sugar levels and then cause you some symptoms of high blood sugar levels. So as a diabetic, you have to concentrate all your effort in identifying those foods that are complex carbohydrate. Food that are complex carbohydrate, your body does not break them down and it does not affect your sugar levels. So what it does is absorbs all the carbs in your bloodstreams and they slower the pace, so it does not dump them into the bloodstream to spike up your sugar levels. So that is why you have to eat food that are high in fiber to do the work. All right? So the slower the carbs are digested, the less likely that it's going to have an impact in your blood sugar levels. So that is why you have to eat food that have a high fiber content in it. Okay? Do you guys have any question? Do you guys have any question on this? before we go to the next one. My tea is getting colder. Omar, do you have any question? Renewable. I hope you are following up. The code operator, I hope you are following up. Do you have any question? Now, how does date affect your blood sugar levels? Okay. How does date affect your blood sugar levels? When you eat them too much. Remember, it has a high content of carbs. It's very sweet. Has some element of fiber in it. But if you abuse it by eating them too much, it's going to affect your blood sugar levels and spike them up. Now, we're going to determine how it affects your blood sugar level using the GI index. GI index, the glycemic index, is the one way of measuring what? The effect of carbs on your blood sugar levels. Now, it measures on a scale of 0 to 100. There are certain food that are below, says from 0 to 50, say they'll have the low GI index. From 50 to a certain number, the medium GI index, and from certain number to certain number, a high GI index. So they use it in measuring effect of carbs in your bloodstreams. Now, we all know about fructose. Mainly we find fructose in all food that we consume. It's a natural source of fructose, found mainly in fruits. Now, with glucose, okay, it's assigned 100. Anything that has glucose or sugar has higher GI index. That's why they give it 100. So you have to stay away from it. So the higher the number of the higher the food, any food you want to consume that have a higher number, stay away from it because the GI index is too high. Okay, so any food you are consuming and you research it and it has a higher number, above 50, above 70, closing to 80, 100, it means have a higher GI index. So it's not good for you as a diabetes. Okay, because the effect of carbs on your body is going to be too high because it means it has a high carbs content and it's going to disturb or spike up your sugar levels or disturb your sugar balance in your bloodstreams. So low GI carbs have, say for instance, GI, sometimes we call it glycemic index or GI. So anything that has lower carbs is going to be lower than 55. So any food that you are eating and it falls below 55, it means you have a lower GI index. The likelihood for it to spike up your sugar levels is going to be low. It might not disturb you because of the lower GI index. The carbs in it is too minimal to affect or alter your sugar balance in your bloodstreams. Okay, so while those with a high GI index rank above from 70 to above. Okay, so medium, then we have the medium GI index between 56 to about 69. Those are medium GI index. So these are ways of calibrating your carbs and how, the effect on your blood sugar levels. So a food with low G may cause less significant problem to you. So you have to, for instance, okay, date. What number does it fall? Let me find out the GI index of that because the easiest way for you to find out the effect of such fruit or food in your sugar level is to look at the GI index. So that's one way of measuring your carbs. The effect it's going to have when you consume them too much on your sugar spike or your sugar levels. So dates, does it have a low GI index, medium GI, or high GI index? Remember, it has a high carb content in it. So the more you eat them, the more it's going to disturb or alter your sugar balance. Now, a food with higher GI index quickly dissolves in you and also affect your sugar levels immediately. That's what we call them a refined or simple carbohydrate because of the high amount of carbs in them. So any food that has a significant impact immediately once you consume them have a higher GI index. It means they are refined carbohydrate, stay away from it. Okay? So a food with low GI may cause less significant fluctuations in your blood sugar levels. While a food with high GI quickly spikes up your blood sugar level instantly. So people living with diabetes will vary their food based on GI index. So understanding the number, anything below 55 has a lower GI index and the possibility or the tendency for it to spike up your sugar levels or alter the sugar balance is low. All right. So the question is, does dates has a higher GI index, medium GI index, or low GI index. So now I'm coming. Let me read your question. I'm trying to understand what you're asking me here. Okay, all right. Let me differentiate it. When we refer to medical dates, we are talking about. I'm not talking about single date. Single date is different from medical date. Medical date, we are talking about bulk. Okay, in bulk. When you eat them in bulk. So when I say a dried mature date has about 36 grams, I'm not talking about single dates. Okay, so a dried 1.5 dried mature dates, because once you take more than one, it becomes mature. If it is one, it becomes single. So for instance, 1.5 becomes mature. You're eating more than once, so they refer them as mature dates. It means we are taking more than one. So mature date, if you take 1.5, contains about 36 grams. Okay, and it has about 27 grams of carbs. So you see 27 grams of carbs, you say, oh, it's too high. But we are calculating it based on the GI index. So when you look at 27 grams and goes to the GI index, remember I told you anything below 55 has a lower GI index. So 27 grams of carbs in it, and go to the GI index of it and colorate it, match it, it's about 37 grams, 37, which means the GL of is about 15%, 15. That means it falls within the low GI index. So 27 grams, colorate to the GI index about 37, it means it is below 55. So it has a lower GI index. If you take 1.5, we call it major. Anything, once it exceeds 1, it becomes major. If it is 1, it becomes single. So that's how it is measured or calculated. So that is why dates fall within the low GI index if you go by that means. Okay? So carbs with a low GL are between 1 and 10. Medium is between 11 and 19, and high is between above 20. So you have to, there are different ways of calculating glycemic index. So if you have diabetics, consider eating dates alongside a source of protein, okay, such as handful of nuts, which support your body digesting the carbs a bit more slowly. So what I'm advising is that you don't eat date as a single source. Match it with nuts. Okay, match it with nuts. That's the effect of eating nuts in combination with date is going to slow the pace of spiking your blood sugar levels. But you should eat them in moderation. So you have to take dates and match it with any nuts. Cashew nuts also has some carbs in it. That's going to slow or dilute the effect of spiking your blood sugar levels instantly. Okay, such as handful of nuts, which support your body digesting the carbs more slowly. So anything that is going to aid you in aiding your digestion to go slowly is very good, because the slower your food digests, the lower the impact in your blood sugar levels. So anytime you're eating food that is simple carbohydrate and it digests fastly, immediately it has an impact in your sugar level, because it's going to spike up your sugar level. But they are simple carbohydrate, they are refined carbohydrate. It's not good for you as a diabetics. Okay. So let's look at the potential benefits. What are the potential benefits of eating dates? You already answered the question. So what are the potential benefits of eating dates? So apart from the fiber content it has, Okay, date has some vitamins and minerals. Okay, also has some vitamins and minerals that will give you other additional benefit. Now, date, okay, has a source of antioxidant. As a diabetes, you need things that have a antioxidant in it, which are beneficial compounds that can help reduce the inflammations and oxidative stress. Anything that is antioxidant, you have antioxidant will also reduce anything that is inflammatory in your body and also oxidative stress. Okay, so that is one benefit of the source of antioxidants. It has minerals and vitamins and the source of what? Antioxidants. Okay, anything that you are eating that high amount of antioxidant helps in reduction of any anti-inflammatory source in your body and oxidative stress. Now, what are those vitamins and minerals that you can find in dates? We have calcium. It has about 67 milligrams of calcium in it. Okay, iron, 0.9 milligram of iron can be found in dates. Calcium, 64 milligrams of calcium can be found in dates. Then potassium, 696 milligrams of potassium is found in dates. All right, zinc, 0.4 milligram found in dates, and magnesium, 54 milligrams of magnesium found in dates. These are vitamins and minerals that can be found in dates. Okay, so that is why they have some benefits, but at the same time, be very cautious that you have to consume them in moderation and pair them with nuts. They have high content of carbs and some fiber in it, but do not abuse it. Okay, do not abuse it. Aisha, hold on. Let me see. Let me see what you're saying. Aisha, where are you watching from? Egypt. Oh, okay. Wow. 11. Your sugar level is too high. Now, this 11, is it before breakfast? Is it pre-meal or post-meal? I want to know, is it pre-meal or post-meal? If it is before meal, 11 is too high. If it's after meal, still it's about one is because is it post-meal? Let me know, is it post-meal or pre-meal before I see what I want to say. Douglas Temple, you're welcome. Christian Baker, you're welcome. Pre-meal, it means it's high. 11 is high. Yep, 11 is high. Eleven is high. Anything if it exceeds 7 milligram per deciliter or 120 millimole per liter, it is too high. Your number should be below 7. Should be below 7 or below 120. Anything that exceeds 120 or 7 is high. Now, if it is post meal, not too bad, because post meal means you have once you finish eating, you have to measure your blood sugar levels 2 hours after you finish eating. It must minimum 1 hour, but 2 hours will give you an accurate number of your sugar level as post meal. Now, post meal, okay, your sugar level is supposed to be 10 milligram per deciliter. It cannot exceed 10. But if you are telling me post meal, it means 11. Okay, just one difference of 1, not bad. Either 10 milligram per deciliter or 180 millimole per liter. It cannot exceed 180 or 10, depending on which device or calculation you are using. So the equivalent of 10 milligram per deciliter is 180 millimole per liter. So post meal, 2 hours after you finish eating, your number is supposed to be reading 10 or 180. In excess of 180 or 110 becomes too high. But your own is pre-meal, the number is too high. So there's something you are doing that is not good enough. So you got to check your dieting. You have to check your dieting to make sure that you are eating well and also exercising well. All right. All right. Where are we now? I want to make sure. This is going to be a short program. I'm not going to waste. Any further question before we call it a day? Now today is going to be a short program. I've given you a response. Check your inbox. I've given you a response. Check your inbox. Okay, so if you guys don't have any further question on this, you're going to wait for me in my afternoon program. I'm going to be back in the afternoon again for the second program. All right, so I'm going to see you guys in the mid-afternoon program today. So I could see a lot of newcomers here. I see new faces here. Have you subscribed to my page? If you have not, you can find me on Facebook also. I'm on YouTube, and follow the page. I see a lot of new faces here this morning. So if you are not yet following my page, kindly go and subscribe to my page. It costs you nothing. So for those that are watching me on YouTube, you're welcome. Thank you. Those that are watching me on Facebook, Amar, Selena, Diane, Kone, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to see you guys in the second program this afternoon. All right. This is going to be a short program this morning. So hopefully to see you guys soon for another topic. Keep watching, and then thumbs up. So those that are on YouTube, I see a lot of new faces on YouTube. Do not forget to subscribe to the page. Okay, so I'm going to see you guys once more this afternoon for another program. Keep watching. See you guys. Bye-bye.